Hey everyone, it's No Clue, and welcome to a F100 update. I'm pushing the F-150 off for a few weeks here. One, because I ran into a small obstacle, nothing big. It's just I gotta think about my one drag link between the two tires a little bit more, and so we're working on a better solution. Just kind of show you why I stopped. You can see this. I got this bar here, and when I put my new tie rods in, I figured out some Ackerman angle. But the problem is, even with it bent, it's still colliding with the motor. So I need to figure out a little bit better way. I think I already got an idea, but it's one of those things that is on hold until just a little while, because the other day we had the 160-degree day in February where everybody gets overly optimistic for the summer, which I know I sure did, because I'm actually going to be putting the 150 off until I get my F100 back up and running, because I'm sure not going to let it sit like this all summer, because I love driving this truck. Because with that Crown Vic front suspension, it actually drives like a car, and it's relatively reasonable ride. And my rear springs that I put on a few months ago have had enough time to settle in and give me like 99% ride height where it's going to sit at eventually. It might be off by like 1/8 of an inch because I need to change these two bushings yet. But other than that, it'd be all complete as far as the angle goes. So I can set my pinion angle on the new rear end and get everything as accurate as possible, because when I do things right, I'll do it right to the T. And yeah, I'm just anal about my stuff being right. So I'm going to clear this pile off, sort of piece the F100 back together, or the F150 back together, so it doesn't look so decrepit. And we'll start tearing this rear end out. I'll be trying to do more of a kind of show the progress as I go, so these will be longer videos. I don't expect everybody to watch all of it, because that's a little unreasonable, because these could be anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. But if you enjoy that kind of thing and you like watching them, then that's just bonus for you. So I'm going to take a jump cut here, get everything just sort of cleaned off and tidied. just to show you the kind of engineered quality that went into this truck from the previous owner, not only did it have a fully disintegrating line that I refuse to change myself because I put these nickel copper lines on, but instead of fixing the brake bracket that rotted through, they took a piece of housing wire and wrapped it around the brake hose so it could rub through, and they took this coil and just set it right on top of this bolt here. Not even bolted down, just sitting there, hanging out on the bump stop. So that is the kind of engineering quality that only you can find on a 1970 F100 from horrible owners. But my next plan of attack is probably get rid of this parking brake lever, because the rear end's not going to have parking brake, or it will, just not right away. And I'm going to adapt it to a newer style brake that runs along down the side of the frame here. But the important part is that I got the rear end out, and I got at least a general idea of, or at least I will have a general idea of how much I need to C-notch out of here. Because what I'll end up doing, I'll probably take a 4-inch piece of pipe, cut it in half, which will give me a 2-inch indent here, and then I'll just box it in on the inside. So that way the frame retains all its strength while still giving me plenty of suspension travel so I don't ride on the bump stops, because this truck was doing it. I'm gonna have to call for the night. It's about 11 o'clock or so, and I just got finished grinding everything down on my axle here. I cut out the other part because I went at this axle for a good 3 hours, and that was not a fun task. And I still got a little bit more to do. I got to pick up another flap wheel. Oh, excuse me. Got to pick up another flap wheel to clean up this the rest of the way, at least where these welds are. And then I'm going to wire brush the entire thing, and then I can throw it in my truck and just kind of get everything sort of halfway lined up, and put 2 temporary tack welds on it with my new perches. And not then because I'm gonna have to still set the pinion angle. It's more to get the thing back on the ground and rolling in case anything else breaks down. It's more of a convenience thing than anything, because it'll inconvenience me. Oh man, I really bent that backing plate up trying to make room to swing the hammer. But it'll actually inconvenience me a little bit more in the long run, because I'll have to cut the tack weld to set the pinion angle right. But in this box is all the new stuff. And this is all super heavy duty overkill stuff. This is actually meant for a 4-wheel drive 8/8 conversion. So people will take like the Explorer axles and stuff and put them in something else. Which I don't know what you would want to put an 8/8 in an off-road vehicle, but to each their own. It works out for me because I get some super beefy, like these things are 1/4 inch thick perches, and they'll fit on there like that. And these are actually longer than stock perches by, I forgot what they said, it was like 2 or 3 inches longer. So more of it will sit on the frame or on the leaf spring, and in doing so it'll supposedly fight axle wrap a little bit more. I don't know how true that is, but if my axle still wraps too bad in the same 4-wheel drive kit, I got these even beefier bottom plates here, which, I mean, they're super beefy. Like, if you bend these with an 8/8, you're gonna break the axle before you ruin these plates. But if I have too much axle wrap, I can take this, since it's so thick, I can weld a piece of box steel to it, and when it's bolted to the bottom of the truck like this, I can run a slapper bar out on the bottom and actually turn these into slapper bar plates instead of just regular brackets. So I'm gonna call here for a night. I'll come back when I'm done with work the following day and getting all this other stuff finished, detailed, and I'm gonna wire brush everything, because once I get these set so I can get the thing rolling, I'll still need to take it out to a buddy of mine and have this axle welded up. I'm gonna have him weld the tube to the pumpkin here, because I've heard horror stories of people who put too much power to these things, and they'll actually break this plug weld here, and it'll twist the tube. So we'll beat it to the punch there and get that plug, or get this all fusion welded. And I'm gonna have him fill all these little nicks I made just to maintain axle integrity, because some of them are actually pretty deep. Where is it? I know on one of these I went way too crazy with. Or at least I thought I went way too crazy with. I can't find it now, so it mustn't have been that bad. But that's besides the point. I'm rambling now. So I'm gonna, like I said, call it a night, and we'll be back in the morning. Afternoon. Alright, now that the phone's slightly better charged, the following day after, actually, I got the rear axle in after the camera died, and I also had a buddy of mine help flip my truck around and get the front clip off the truck the rest of the way. So, as it stands, this is how she sits. The nose is off her once again with the bed off. You can see it actually sits pretty nicely. I'll throw a photo in there of the thing sitting at the end of the driveway just so you can get a better idea of how well this actually sits. Like, when flipping the axle on this thing just does it the perfect amount. But yeah, let's not having the axle flip like this though. That doesn't help you any. It was kind of a calamity because we went to push the truck out. It rolled beautifully backwards all the way down the driveway, like perfectly. But we go to push the thing uphill a little bit to get the thing in front of the driveway so we can roll it backwards and get it to so we can back this back into the driveway. And when I went to roll it forward, at some point the rear end locked up and it flipped over on itself and hit this cross member, and it stopped us dead in the tracks in the middle of the street sideways. So we were panicking. My one buddy ran down the driveway, got the floor jack. We started picking up at it when another friend of mine sees us, slows down, pulls his car in, and it's actually a Chrysler minivan, and he starts using the bumper of the thing to help us get the thing pushed down the driveway. And for as bad as what happened, it couldn't have worked out any better. But the next thing we're going to tackle is getting this beaten, broken, and blown up motor torn out of this sucker and getting the new big block prepped and put back in. I don't think it's going to take much prep work. I'm going to pull it in, pull the duct tape off the manifolds and all the ports that I have protected. And we're going to set it in and see what I got as far as the motor mounts. I got adapter plates for, so the motor will pretty much just drop right in. But it's going to come down to the tunnel clearance, because this is an E4OD, and these trucks at worst were designed for a C6, which works in my favor because that's what a E4OD is based off of. It's a C6 with overdrive bolted on the back. So I should have enough bowel housing clearance back there, but my hopes are not high. I might have to notch a little bit more out of the firewall than I'm hoping for. But again, if worse comes to worse, that's what a cutoff wheel and a welder's for. So we're going to end it here. Anyhow, if you guys decide you like this kind of video, more of the longer time-lapsed ones with the intermediate, like me stopping and kind of showing what's going on, then let me know. Because I'm not going to lie, even if you guys don't like it, I'm still going to keep doing it because it's a nice video log, or at least it's a nice documentation of what I'm doing to my truck. So, but if it does get good reception, I'll probably end up doing it to my Mustang when I decide to convert that from a V6 to a V8, which is still quite a ways away yet, because I'm more worried about getting the nice old vehicle running instead of the new vehicle that's already running to run faster. So, until then guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Until then, I'll catch you next time.